Hey geeks, it's Minx, and it's time for another review. This time is for Game of Thrones Episode 2. It was pretty epic in the fact that it's setting up even more and more things. There's going to be spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, go watch the episode before you watch my video. I'm going to be doing these videos all season long, so make sure you click that little red button down there that says subscribe so you can get everything that I post. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. We start off with Dany and her, I guess you could call small council at the moment, which, Yara Greyjoy, um, the chick from Dorne, Lady Olenna from House Tyrell, Tyrion. They're all kind of arguing, telling her that she needs to crush, King's Landing immediately and just go right in, all guns blazing. And then Tyrion steps up and is like, no, this is what we're going to do because I know my sister and I know she's going to turn everyone against, the foreign armies that are in Westeros, so they need the local ones, mainly the Tyrells and Dorne, to do the pounding on King's Landing while the Unsullied and the Dothraki attack Casterly Rock and take that away from the Lannisters, thus cutting off their fortune and their men and whatnot. He lays it out for, and then everyone adjourns, and Lady Olenna has a moment with Dany where she's like, are you this or are you be a dragon? Be a dragon. Make people fear you. And I think with what happens at the end of the show where Euron Greyjoy completely smashes Yara's fleet, completely decimates it, I think that will ultimately lead Dany into changing things up a bit and probably going the way of Aegon the Conqueror and pretty much telling him, bend the knee or you will be put to fire. So I could totally see that happening. I think it's just going to take just the right little things to happen for her to change her plans. We have Jon Snow in the north arguing with the northerly families about whether or not to go to the summons from Dany, you know, and talk about things, but he gets a message from Samwell saying, dude, shit ton of dragon glass under Dragonstone, you need to get there and like fucking mine that shit because it's, everything we need to fight the White Walkers. And with that, he decides to leave, and Sansa's like, you can't leave, you're the king of the north. And he's like, don't worry, I'm leaving you in charge while I'm gone. It's in good hands. I trust you. You're my sister. I trust you. You're going to get great shit done, and you're not going to fuck up anything. Which I'm not so sure if that's a good thing or not. One of my favorite parts of the episode actually happens around this time. Jon's down visiting the crypt, and he's staring at Ned's marble statue. And he's joined by Littlefinger, and Littlefinger's trying to talk to him, trying to be kind of suave about it. And he says something about Sansa, and fucking Jon just grabs him by the throat, jams him up against the wall, and is like, if you even do anything to my sister, I will kill you. You touch my sister, I will kill you. And I just thought that was one of the funniest parts of the episode. It was great. It was well done. You got Cersei churning shit up, talking about how there's foreign armies in their midst, and none of the great houses are gonna back her or back Dany, because of this, and trying to get everyone going. Even Samwell's dad, Randall Tarley, who's probably one of the greatest martial minds in Westeros. he gets pulled aside by Jamie, talking about, you might be Warden of the West, or, you're one of the greatest minds. We need you on our side. Our side's going to be the winning side. And you can tell Randall is a little bit torn because he has sworn fealty to the Tyrells. And also the fact, it's like, if you actually add up what um, Danny has, she's got a very convincing, beyond the three dragons, she's got a pretty convincing set of, armies at the time. This is, of course, before Euron just smashes the Iron Fleet. Um, so there's that. We get confirmation that the person with grayscale at the Citadel is Jorah Mormont, and hearing that he was a Mormont, Sam decides he's going to try and save him from the grayscale in a very, very painful, disgusting way that involves literally scalpeling off all of the bits of grayscale, and it's this yellow pus underneath. Um, and it just looks like a very arduous process and stuff that could probably get Sam kicked out of the Citadel. But at this point, he's pretty much figured out the stuff he needs, that he came there for. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if he gets kicked out. I mean, he already knows about the dragon glass on Dragonstone, and he's possibly healing Jorah Mormont of his scale. So we'll see what happens there. Overall, the episode I'm gonna give a B+. It was a great setup episode. During the final battle, the Sand Snakes are dead. They're taken care of. They're not as badass as they thought they were, facing off against Euron Greyjoy. And Theon showed himself to be a coward again, and his PTSD kicked in. He done jumped overboard when his sister was taken hostage. So, not looking forward to seeing what Euron does to Yara. And I'm not really looking forward to whatever happens to Theon when he washes up somewhere. I hope something, happens to him, because at this point he's just a little bitch. But yeah, so that was, in a nutshell, episode 2. Pretty good stuff. Good setup for more stuff to come. Like I said, I feel like little things are going to keep happening until Dany pretty much takes an Aegon the Conqueror's stand and just goes for it with the dragons. So yeah, that's about where we're at. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. I love talking about my favorite shows, and I would love to know what you guys thought. If you would like to see my episode 1 review, just go ahead and click right here. If you'd like to see my top 5 confirmed book theories from last year, go ahead and click over here. And as always, I will see you next week. Later, geeks.